both sort of in it. Hi. We're talking very softly because this is very
Precarious.
precarious. That's the word I'm looking for. So we're on our Tarot Delights live. We're doing it from a different angle. Don't mind the mess over here.
Oh, it shows lovely product. Like you've got bracelets in here and you've got spells. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've been revamping the spells and the spell herbs and ingredients that you need and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've been doing that. So we're gonna tip this down a little bit, to show you the 3-card readings that were, or 3-card spread readings that we're gonna do. And we just did our YouTube live. No, our Facebook live.
We're on YouTube.
Yes, we're on YouTube. Where am I? Who am I? Who are you?
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday. It totally is. Although I had a couple of readings which went really, really well.
Amazing.
And, like sometimes you get worried when you're like not quite in your own head and you're having to do a reading and you're like, oh, how good am I going to be for this client? But no, they were both bang on. So
amazing.
Yeah, so I was very
usual.
happy about that. And there were some tears. There were some laughs.
Laughs are good. Tears, depending on like conversations. That can be
very good, releasing tears of joy, that sort of thing. So yeah, not tears of true sadness, tears of, it's releasing.
Releasing is always important, and I don't think we do it enough.
Yeah, I think we're told not to cry, and we're mistakenly told it's strength to not cry.
Which is unfortunately not true.
Yeah, I mean, there is such a thing as crying too much. We all have friends that will weep at anything.
Oh, I work with children.
Yes, there you go.
Half of me is like, I want to validate your feelings. The other half is like, you're completely fine.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Those feelings are not valid.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. If they're actually hurting, we definitely make sure they're checked out.
Of course.
But there's times where I'm like, you're not actually hurt.
Or it's times where, I get it when you're a little kid, that one thing, that small thing is your entire world.
Oh, 100%.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, you've got Fruit Loops instead of Cheerios. Like, this is not the hill you want to die on.
But they're still learning what hills to die on. So they die on every hill.
Yeah, exactly.
Proverbially.
Yes, exactly.
I was like, this could get really morbid very quickly.
Well, I still remember one time I was at my daughter's house with my granddaughters.
Yeah.
And they were putting popcorn in the microwave.
Okay.
So they get to press the buttons.
Okay.
And they wanted to press the button to open it because it was done popping now.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't you know, like, it was the most important button to press that day because they were fighting and wrestling and tearing each other's hair to get
to get to a button.
Just to get to a button.
Man, I'll put a coffee in. You can reheat my coffee if you want to press another button.
Exactly.
Like,
but this was the most important button of their lives.
I think it's funny because I work with kids, I'm reminded of that daily. Like,
right.
They might be freaking out about this, and it is very insignificant to our adult brains, but it's everything to their little brains.
Yeah.
They're little growing brains. I shouldn't call them little, but they're very much growing and sponging and everything. And it's interesting because they lose it. And it's
As
justifiably
adults,
so.
we totally lose it. And some of it we should lose.
Yep.
But, at the same time, we don't get the sponge back.
No. No.
To be able to absorb everything. And yeah, it's such a great big world.
It is. And some of that great big world isn't so good right now. So we got to take the good where we can get it and help our kids and validate their feelings as it comes along.
Yeah. And it's all part of learning how to manage your emotions. Right? And I mean, there's adults out there that can't do it because they didn't get that space to learn.
Well, and I still don't understand how that's not a class.
Yeah, parenting or raising kids or
a lot of it, but emotional regulation specifically.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like woven in through school, and like we're doing it every day anyway. But like to actually have time in a day to be like, this is what this emotion is, this is what this is. And I know they probably do it in the very younger grades, but I'm finding I'm seeing it less and less.
Yeah, and they're not always teaching
more.
Emotional like regulation or anything like that. They're more, this is sad, this is happy. They're defining the emotion. And that's all well and good. It's good to be able to define what you're feeling. But then to regulate that's
very different.
Very different. And I know I've seen all kinds of memes about this too. I'm very supportive of bringing meditation
Yep.
into the classroom.
Well, they do.
It would
use
help the teacher.
Oh,
and the
100%,
students.
100%. They do use it well to like, so if they have a body break or a gym, something where their emotions and everything's like way up here, they do use it to bring them back down to be able to like focus in on the next activity.
Nice.
But I feel like it's not utilized outside of that.
Yeah, because, like, I've heard that a lot of the generation coming up does not have the attention span, and that I have seen in my own grandchildren. It's like, I remember when my kids could sit down and like listen to a story for the whole story. I remember doing that when I was a kid, and we were taught, sit down and just be still for a bit, right?
They can't do it.
They can't do it. And we've got all these fidget toys and blah, blah, blah for them and stuff like that. And that's all well and good. But a child who does not have special needs, obviously, should be learning along the way how to be still, because it is a skill that will serve you to no end as an adult. And instead of allowing them to fidget with everything, let's teach them, just for 30 seconds, let's be still. And then you stretch it out to a minute, to 3 minutes.
Well, even in the sense of like them getting like what I'm working on, a couple of my kids might be a lot neurospicy, but I'm like, hey, let's first this, then play. So you got to do something you don't want to do, and then you get the thing you want.
Right.
And it is what it is. And some kids it works, and other kids you got to work with them on their timeline. So they're like, no, I got to finish this, and I'm like, okay, but once this is finished, we're moving over here.
Right.
And so that transition, I'm finding a lot of kids are having transition issues or problems from going from one activity to another. It doesn't even matter if it's a preferred activity or a non-preferred activity.
Oh, okay.
Just in general.
Okay.
Switching
Just
from
math
to
reading or something.
Even like recess to coming back inside, which that I make sense because recess is your high preferred.
Yeah.
And back inside is obviously work.
Yeah.
But like you could be going from like recess to gym, which is essentially the same thing.
Right.
And they're still like, I don't wanna. And I'm like,
Right. Yeah. His kids were weird about, I don't wanna.
yeah.
In my day, it was like, I don't care if you don't wanna, you're gonna.
That, because I grew up with that too. That still goes through my brain, but does not come out my mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to be very careful about what I say.
Yeah, of course. And I'm happy that it's not quite that.
The same. Yeah. No, we give them space to be like, okay.
Because it's not like I was raised correctly.
No.
It was, there's always room for improvement.
Well, and I think we're more aware.
Oh, it was a long Monday for Kayla.
A little bit. Lack of coffee. A little anxiety producing. I drove my husband's car to work, and I think I was more concerned what he would think if something happened than what would happen to me. Nothing happened. We're all good.
So,
but like the emotional stress.
Her car is in the shop right now, and it's always stressful when your car is in the shop.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. First of all, it's like, I don't have the same freedom. I'm choking because I don't have freedom.
Well, and that's it, because I remember the last time my car, or no, it was Josh's car last time. So I was unemployed at the time.
Yeah.
So when his car went in the shop, he's like, oh, I'll just take yours. And I'm like, pardon?
Yeah.
Pardon.
Yeah.
I understand where the thought process is, and I will let you take it, but my God, do I not want to let you take it.
Yeah, like, don't shackle me, you fiend.
But essentially, that's what I did to him today, because I had to borrow his car.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a catch-22. Cars are convenience, but they're also a money pit.
Yeah. Then there's the whole stress of how much is this going to cost me.
100%.
So you got the shackles and you got the cost, and it's stressful getting cars fixed.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Good vibes in the universe.
Yeah, send us good vibes for Kayla's car.
Because she's got a couple more years in her. I don't want to get rid of her just yet.
Yeah, you're not in the market for a car.
No. I like the car I have. She's good. She works.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Little cosmetic flaws. That's fine. Those are my fault.
So we thought we'd talk today about the 3-card spread because that's the first one that most people learn.
I find it is in a lot of what people have deemed the little white book.
Right.
In tarot.
Yes. Yeah. Almost every deck comes with certain spreads, but the 3-card is definitely one of the first ones and always one that seems to be included. Because sometimes I'll get all excited about getting a new deck and be like, I want to read the book. What spreads are they talking about? Blah, blah, blah. Some spreads, like some decks, I mean, do all kinds of cool little spreads. I'm like, oh, that's neat. But they always start out with the 3-card, and if they only have 3-card, I'm a little disappointed.
Well, no, and I have to find it because it's a deck I don't use anymore, but some of the spreads in there were really good. And it was
nice.
like the Dreams of Gaia tarot.
Oh, okay.
It kind of looks like AI art. It's not. The artist is phenomenal.
Oh, nice.
There was like a tree spread.
Oh.
Or they named it something to do with tree. And I'm a sucker for trees. But I found you can really build on the 3-card spread.
Oh,
so
yeah.
once you have that down, whether you use the traditional past, present, future, or like here's your decision and what are your 2 options, like there's a lot of ways you could pull that 3-card spread into something that would be very helpful for most people.
Yeah. And it's beyond, like, let's take it beyond the past, present, future, you know, because a lot of tarot readers will start out with past stuff. And I'm being the traditional Aries that I am, I'm like, who cares about your past? Let's see what's coming up, you know, or let's see what you're mucking in right now kind of thing. Because I essentially do a 9-card spread as my go-to.
Okay.
And it's sort of 3 small 3-card spreads, except I don't do the past, present, future.
Oh, that's interesting because my go-to, I call it the energy spread. And it's your traditional 3-card, but it's how like the energy you're bringing with you from your past, your present energy and your future energy. And then but it builds. It's like that's your foundation, and there's like a couple more cards up here to give you more clarity.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
And I mean, essentially each row is 4 cards because I do an energy card.
Yep.
So it's sort of, the first row is definitely the energy you're in right now. And so that really plays a big role. And then the next 2 are kind of what you're walking into. So when you know what you're walking into as far as the energy around it, I find is very helpful. And some people just want to know what's coming up. You know, okay, that's fair enough. I've got 9 cards that's going to tell you what's coming up. But tarot has a way of breaking it down into subjects, like it happened with me today where we went on to different subjects.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was really kind of interesting.
Good evening, Robin.
Oh, hi, Robin. We're talking about 3-card spreads, but we're talking about spreads in general, actually. And then sometimes, like, I'll talk with a client and I'll say, what topic do you want to look at in your life? And they might pick 2 or 3. I usually leave it to 2 or 3 because then the first 2 rows can be, you know, your job, your love life, and then the last row is, you know, what's coming up in general kind of thing, right? So I like that, and I find tarot speaks best in 3s too.
Okay.
Because my rows are 3 rows of 3 cards, right? And then with the 4th sort of row on its own, they seem to read both horizontally and vertically.
So it kind of bookends the whole reading?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be neat.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting, and I just let it free flow, right? Like, I know a lot of people like spreads like this means this, and in this position that means that, but I free flow it. Like, when I have cards...
I'm just gonna move you guys down so you can
move
see.
you guys down.
Or not. Maybe.
Oh, hang on.
Okay. I'll let you fiddle.
Let me see.
Because I'm going to do something.
No, it's all good. It's all good. There we go.
It doesn't want to fiddle.
It doesn't. Let me see if I can do it without breaking anything. Oh, that's as far as it wants to go. Okay, all right. Well, you can kind of see it, I think. There we go.
Well, we can also hold it up as well.
Stay. Okay.
All right.
I'll move. Oh, I want them moved it this way. Okay.
Yeah. It's always the opposite what you think it is.
I know, right?
I've learned that using Zoom recently.
So I've got 3 cards like this, right?
Okay.
So I'll flip these cards over just to see what they are. I do turn them so they're facing the client because I want to see how they're reacting to each card or each row. And I'll see how these play on each other, right? And then as I go through the reading, I flipped all the cards eventually, obviously. Oh, you got the double.
Ooh.
And so these cards will bounce off of each other, and these cards will bounce off of each other, as will these. But these cards tend to bounce off of each other.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's kind of like you've kind of like bingoed
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
So it's like these cards bounce off of each other, but then so do these ones.
Yeah.
So you're getting a multi-layered story essentially.
And I've actually had it where like 3 queens are all here. Like what's that saying as well, right? So you're getting a horizontal but also a vertical reading of the cards. And it's funny, like, I mean, this is a little more random because we weren't doing an actual reading, but with this reading, I find a lot of things line up. Like this is its own, saying its own thing. And despite, like, this might be your love life and this might be your career, and then this one's just what's happening. But this also talks to how your love life is affecting your career or vice versa kind of thing, right? And it's such an interesting spread. And to me, it's a very open spread. So it allows the energy to flow however it needs to flow.
Yep.
I try to give tarot a big playground, so to speak.
Well, and that's definitely worth it too, right? Because the more the space you give it to speak, I think the more it's going to have something to say.
Right, exactly. And it's not like, well, this card is only meaning what strengths you have, and this card is only meaning what surprises you're going to get, you know, and it's not locked in. Because I think, like me, tarot doesn't like to be locked in.
No, and I think it's really interesting because we talk about a system with tarot, and like, yes, you have to learn the system, but then you get to play and not break the system, but bend and play within the system.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely, once you've learned, and it sounds very constricting once you've learned all the cards.
Yeah.
Because it sounds, if you're just like, oh, this means this. But then when you play it off of other cards, there's more deeper levels and deeper
That's where
meanings.
the true language of tarot comes into play.
Yeah.
Is, like you say, where it bounces off other cards.
And the meaning, sorry to cut you off, the meaning changes depending on what's around it.
Absolutely. And you see that there's such nuanced layers with every single card that knowing the structure gives you the ability to play with the language. So you don't need reversals. You don't need like all these, like, I need to memorize keywords. Well, you do and you don't, but I recommend learning nicknames because nicknames stick better than keywords, right? Or you know, weird, like, I memorized a website by saying Kentucky Fried Holy Cow.
Ko-Fi?
Yeah. So,
I
and
was like, what website is that?
I will never forget that website, Kentucky Fried Holy Cow. You know, if you put weird, funny words
and it's
to
true
things.
because that's a study tactic, but it's also in a tarot, like, it's called supportive tarot because that was the name of the YouTube channel once upon a time, but that's the group on Facebook as well, run by a Canadian tarot YouTuber. And so a lot of people say, like, oh, I have a hard time reading the court cards, or I have a hard time reading this card. And the suggestions are great because they're like, do you have a favorite TV show? Can you put the personalities of the court cards in that TV show?
Yeah.
And so, like, I've done that over the amount of time. Whatever card's giving me, like, flack about making sure that they're understood, I'm like, okay, what are you this week?
Right.
Like, are you, like, Dean Winchester? Or are you, like, just for example, because Supernatural kind of runs deep in my household.
Right.
You know, but, like, it could be Dungeons and Dragons. It could be, Powerpuff Girls. I was going to say Power Pony. And then
You're combining two
yeah, I'm totally
cartoons.
combining 2 cartoons. So it doesn't matter, but as long as it makes sense to you, because if you can make sense of the tarot, you will have it understood 100 times faster and easier.
And the more you play with the tarot, and I don't mean play by doing tarot readings, I mean like in classes when I'm teaching tarot, I'll get you to do, we did charades for tarot. We did,
Nice.
we did make your own spreads. We did, what pop culture would you put? And we'd assign you a tarot card and what
Yep.
song, movie, TV show, whatever.
Banging. Like, that's such a good idea.
Yeah,
'Cause
and then you share it with the class, and of course you never forget. This is always going to be this for me now. Like the old joke of the 5 of wands. One, it was a student that showed it to me. She heard a joke about it. It's 5 guys trying to put up a tent. And it's like, I'll never forget that now, because you never unsee it, especially in the RSW original.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's about the struggle of getting along with people and learning to work together as a team, because it's 5 guys trying to put up a tent.
Well, it's funny because it's not this deck, so I run with This Might Hurt very often, but it's the Witches. That's gonna blank me. Basically because the 5. So we're talking about 5 of Wands, and because in that deck they're wearing masks, it always makes me think of COVID.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Being like, give him a space.
Oh, yes, I also meant to tell you, your chakra deck that you use a lot? Do you have it here?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. I just did a tarot reading for the creator of that deck.
I love them.
Yes.
Good, that's fantastic.
So I'm hoping to get her on the
Yes, we should get
channel
her on
and also carry her deck.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I honestly love that deck. A friend of mine hates it because it always gives her, like, you got to sit with this kind of readings and not really good news. It makes her think on some things.
Yeah.
Where I like how she really, so I'm going to have to bring it next time so we can show you and we'll expand upon this conversation. Because the way you mix the way that creator mixes the chakras with the tarot is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah.
Like, absolutely stunning.
Right. Yeah. And it's beautiful artwork and stuff too. But yeah, it was such an honor and privilege, first of all, to do the reading, and she gave me a really good Google review.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I'll have to go find it.
Yeah, and so it was awesome. But yeah, like tarot, speaking of which, if people say they're getting bad readings or hard readings or, negative readings, that sort of thing, first of all, you're asking the same question more than once and you don't want the answer. So your deck can get angry at you. I've cleared a number of angry decks because you keep just asking. And it's like, if I asked you every day, are my glasses broken? No. Are my glasses broken? And every day I ask you that every time you see me.
Eventually I'm going to look at you and go, do you own a mirror?
Yeah. Do you want me to break your glasses for you? Because I will.
They're not now, but do you want them broken?
Exactly.
So your deck's thinking the same thing.
Exactly.
Don't ask it the same question too many times. Okay?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And accept the answer it gives you. And a lot of times I get it. Patience is a big thing that comes up. And it's like, just be patient. Just wait. And people are like, I don't like that. Or maybe it's asking her to sit into hard feelings or hard, like,
Well,
what do I
sitting in
really
hard stuff is kind of hard to do,
It
right?
is hard, but the tarot will always tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And that she's the girlfriend that will be honest with you. It's just, she can be a bitch if you don't believe her.
Oh my God, I love it.
So it's like, there's no such thing as a bad reading in tarot. There's just a bad acceptance of the truth.
Or lack of acceptance.
Lack of acceptance, yes. Yeah. A bad lack of acceptance.
Well, I mean, there is bad acceptances too, because then if people are like, I don't like this, but I guess I have to, and then they don't do anything to change it. Like, I love the fact that tarot readings are exactly what you need to know at that time of the reading. If you walk out of the room and you were supposed to take a left, or as I go right, you were supposed to take a right instead of a left, and then you go left instead of right. Like, things are gonna change. You do have free will. Things are gonna change, but
and it's always your choice. Tarot may have said left is gonna be easier, or right's gonna be easier, but left will be, it's your choice. It'll be harder on the left.
Yeah.
And then you come back and go, why is it so hard on the left? Because you went left.
Yeah.
You know?
You didn't listen that the right was going to be easier.
Yeah. But maybe you were supposed to have the harder trip
Yeah.
to whatever.
Because then you learned a lesson, in which case you're supposed to move it forward and help someone else with that lesson. Like that's
I was telling someone today in a reading saying, you know, happiness doesn't last forever, but neither does misery. And, you know, she had been having a very hard time of life. And trust me, it was a hard time. She had a
list
of stuff. I'm like, whoa, you know, most people wouldn't have walked in so happy-go-lucky kind of thing. But there's always a gift even in the lessons, even the hard lessons, there's always a gift. And when we're happy, we're celebrating that we got through the lesson, the hardship, the tragedy, whatever it might be. And then life throws us another fun thing to get through. And then we celebrate at the end of that. But we can't celebrate if we don't get the hard shit first.
Well, and it's like if everything was all hunky-dory, we wouldn't understand that it's good.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just like we can eat cake for breakfast, but if we do it every morning, cake kind of loses its luster.
Yeah. We're not going to want cake for breakfast. We're going to be like, what else is out there?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been eating little pancake snippets from a lovely chain restaurant for the last like month, because that's my like I gotta go to work, here's my coffee, here's my breakfast.
Oh, hey,
And
yeah,
I'm still
nothing
not
wrong with
sick of it.
getting other people to cook your breakfast. And, you know, like breakfast food is one of those things you tend to go for it like for years at a time, you know, whether you're a cereal person or Egg McMuffin on the way or a bacon and egg person.
It's true though, because I remember in college they made a killer like broccoli cheese omelet sandwich.
Ooh.
And I still haven't found a better one.
Oh.
So, but I literally ate it for as soon as I found it in like second year.
Yeah.
Almost every day we had class. I was like, oh, I'm hungry. Broccoli cheese omelet time.
There's something about when you wake up, your brain needs the same thing that you did the day before for breakfast.
Yeah.
Lunch and dinner, you want variety. But breakfast, you tend to like stick to the same thing. My brain knows this.
Well, it's also too like when you wake up, you don't want to brain right away.
Yeah.
So you're like, I don't want to cook something extravagant, or I don't want to make decisions.
Yeah.
So whatever I had yesterday is good enough.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I'm guilty of this. Because if I don't make my lunch the night before, or at least know what I'm packing the night before, so I have to physically make that decision. In the morning, I'm like, I don't care. I'm not making lunch.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
my brain doesn't want to brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I hear that. Because
And
I'm the same way.
Do I get that it's half laziness? 100%.
Yeah. I
get
it.
I'm not remotely delusional. there.
I'm willing to pay other people to make me my breakfast and lunch.
Mine depends on the paychecks.
Yeah.
Do I have enough to make sure people can make my food, or do I have
I
to
am
do it?
helping to keep people employed.
It's true. Plus, the ladies who serve my coffee in the morning just love it. They're like, "Oh my God, you're back!"
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also too, it costs almost as much to buy the groceries for what you want to have anyways. It's like,
I do need to try over the summer. I want to try to make. There's like little like potato omelet things that I sometimes get, not all the time.
Oh,
But I
okay.
want to try to make those over the summer. 'Cause
Oh,
if I could
okay.
make them and freeze them and then just thaw them every morning,
yep, nice.
that would be bonkers.
Yeah,
bananas.
but that takes preparation.
It does. And I'm still working on that.
Oh, because I see all these people that do like dinner preps.
Yep.
You know, and I'm like, oh, that seems like such a great idea. But I'm lucky to get one dinner out of me, let alone making 10 at a time
Well,
or
and
whatever.
it's like splitting like 3 meals up into like 5 different meals, or like 3, I don't know. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm a leftovers person. We eat one thing for dinner, and I'm like, yeah, sure, serve it to me for lunch.
Yeah.
But I don't want it the next day.
Yes, I've done that. Or I get really excited. If I make meatloaf, for instance, for say tonight's dinner,
Yeah.
I'm super excited about the meatloaf sandwich that I'm going to have for lunch the next day.
But do you want to eat it the next day?
But I usually do, yes, I do.
Okay.
But I have to time it right. Because, like, if I do it on a Monday night, Tuesday, Mark always takes me out for lunch. So then I don't have lunch. And
Yep.
usually we have a lipper, as we call it. It's a lunch dinner.
A lipper. My God, I love that term. Second or third breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. So So by the time we get home, it's past dinner time and we're too full, so we might have a snack.
Yeah.
At night, we're not having a full dinner. And so then, so the meatloaf's been sitting there until Wednesday.
And then you're like, is it still good?
Yeah, is it still good? Do I still want it on Wednesday? I don't know.
And there is something about, like, and call me a little neurodiverse or not, I need to know what I'm eating. Like, and don't get me wrong, there are days where I'm like, I know what I'm eating and now I don't want it.
Right.
Have you ever had that where you're like, yeah, I'll pack my lunch for the week, and then you're like, you get to Wednesday and you know what you're gonna have for
I did
eat
that
Wednesday?
one time with like sandwiches I had made. I'd made like 5 ham sandwiches or something. And by Wednesday I didn't want ham sandwiches anymore.
But it doesn't even have to be like a repeated thing. I could like literally not have leftovers, not had a sandwich for 4 days, and pack a sandwich, and by the time my break comes, I'm like, I don't want a sandwich.
Okay.
And I have no idea where that comes from because I tried not to eat out regularly once I got to high school because our high school used to have like some options.
Oh, okay.
But I was always like, I don't want to waste money on food. Like, I would rather, go to the movies and do something fun with friends.
Right.
So, like, I packed my lunches a lot. But I just, for some reason, my brain is like, nope, we're not hungry for that. And you'd rather not eat than eat that.
Right. Well, and Europe, they shop every day.
I know.
And it's like, so then you can really fill your cravings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Because you're like, what am I craving today?
Yeah, I'm going to get this stuff for a salad. And you're not buying like in gigantic bulk amounts. Like, I love Costco, don't get me wrong, but I don't need a crate of oranges. Nobody needs a crate of oranges unless you've got like a bazillion kids or something.
But oranges are great.
Oh, they are good. You're craving an orange right now.
Yes, I am. I'm like, oranges. We're talking about food. I'm glad I had a really good lunch.
Yeah, there you go.
Josh was like, I brought home burritos, and I'm sitting there eating the popcorn he also brought home. And I'm like, I'm just gonna have popcorn for dinner. I'll eat that for lunch. He's like, are you actually gonna remember it? And I'm like, yep. It was delicious.
Nice. That's always good when you can make a twofer out of a.
Yes. Yep.
I do that a lot with Swiss Chalet. I'll order in.
You do half and then like eat. Yep, I do the same thing.
Yeah,
but then
like, cause the double leg or half chicken, the double leg is actually cheaper than the half chicken.
Really?
But you get more meat in the double leg. Just a little secret there. And sometimes I'll do the ribs and the chicken.
Yeah. So then
combo.
you eat the ribs and then save the chicken for the next day.
There you go.
Smart cooking there.
There you go. And I save the bun for the next day.
Yep.
Make a little bun chicken
Make a little
sandwich.
sandwich. They changed their buns again, and I don't like them.
Oh, did they really?
I feel like it, or maybe it was Tim Hortons that changed their buns. I don't know. Someone changed their buns recently, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I really wish there was a restaurant that made those Hawaiian sweet rolls. Those are so good.
Yes.
Yes. Jiffy used to have a version of those. They were so good. They
No,
don't
not
have them
anymore.
They also don't do homemade pies anymore. They had a lady that did pies, homemade, and she did a banana cream pie. If anyone knows a restaurant that does banana cream pie in Kingston, Ontario, please tell me. I will go there.
You've got Rhonda support.
Exactly.
110%.
Because I love banana cream pies.
We should bring back your tarot dinners and at least do a podcast out of them at least once.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Like once a season or
Once
something.
a season. Yeah, like
Yeah.
not like an every week thing.
No, exactly.
But yeah, like if we do a tarot dinner or
Dinner
whatever.
club.
Dinner club.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just
that's a good
thinking,
idea.
we're talking about food and we're talking about tarot, and now I'm like, why can't we have pie and do tarot?
Yeah. And I do have my food tarot. I forgot to bring it out. I was going to bring that out too.
Food tarot. That'd be fun.
Yes. A dear friend of mine got that for me. She thought it would be hilarious. And it was.
So I do a version of the 3 card.
Here, I'll move this so you can
So
see
like,
it.
I don't know how I want to do this. I want to do this so it goes towards you.
Okay.
So it's gonna be backwards to me. So like, there's your technically your traditional 3 card, like past, present, future.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, so then this is my energy spread. So basically,
Okay.
this is the energy that you're bringing in.
Ugh,
I know.
doesn't look good.
This is the energy you currently have,
Oh, okay. I look much better there.
and this is the energy you're walking into.
Oh, nice.
Nice, yeah. So you're
That actually really makes sense for what's going on. Anyways, continue.
in order to go from here to here, you're gonna step into this energy.
Oh, okay.
So you're bridging that gap.
Okay.
And then in order to go, oh, that's interesting. You also got the devil. In order to go from this energy to this energy, you're going to have to step up here.
I have to give in to my temptations.
A little bit. And then,
Or not give in.
and then like your overall kind of theme of things and where you want to go is this energy.
So that's the final outcome
Yeah.
kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if people are like, but I want a clarifier, then I can always just do.
Yeah.
Not that that's any.
Yeah, I always do clarifiers or, you know, what if, you know, like for instance, if you did the 3-card spread of, you know, this is choice A, choice B, choice C.
Yeah.
What if you didn't do this one? Or what if you picked that one? Where's the final outcome going to? Or what step do you need to do next kind of thing? Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff you can play off the 3-card spread.
Yep.
Where it's not a 3-card spread anymore.
No, and
I like this.
When I'm stuck, when someone has a question that I'm like, oh, I don't know how to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I pull out.
Okay, nice. I like it.
This is my like I'm stuck and I'm panicked and this is what my brain knows.
Right.
Regardless of what you ask me, this will still get you an answer.
Right. Right.
I want to play in other things, I think spreads wise, but I'm also...
I think this is nice too because it's sort of like it's a looser spread. Mm-hmm. It's not a locked in.
No.
I mean, yes, this is what you were in. This is where you are currently. This is where you're going. But I love the here's how to get from here to here, what you had to do, and here's what you have to do to get to there.
Yep.
Which is awesome. Play devil's advocate maybe or something.
Yeah, exactly. And it all depends on how they're feeling and what their reactions to the cards are. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so depending on what they give me, and if they give me absolutely nothing, this is something I can.
It's like Sesame Street to me.
Really? I love that. I am now gonna forever see the 6 of Cups in Sesame Street.
Because it's like, you know, they're in the apartment complex and they're trying to grow something on their balcony, and it just reminded me of Sesame Street. I expect Bert and Ernie to be up here.
Okay, so now I want to know. Okay, well, we keep talking tarot. I want to know if there's if there's a Sesame Street tarot deck.
Oh my God, I would be all over that.
I would be all over that too. So while we continue chatting.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, they have everything in tarot, right? So I would hope so. And if we don't, we should make one. Oh my goodness. Catherine can be our artist.
No. I'm getting books.
But no.
No. I'm getting books. I love Elmo. My money should be going to Elmo, not Elon. That was my favorite meme that I found in the last 2 weeks.
See, Elmo was after my time.
Really?
Yeah. He was not on when I was on. When I was watching it.
I definitely grew up on Sesame Street.
That and The Electric Company I grew up on too.
Oh, yes. I vaguely remember that one. I was like the cusp of...
Yeah, it was very 70s, very hippie. And but I loved it. I thought it was cool.
Polka Dot Door. A lot of Canadian.
Oh, yeah. I did Polka Dot Door. The Friendly Giant. Did you do him?
Vaguely, yes.
Okay. And Mr. Dress Up.
Mr. Dress Up, definitely staple.
Yeah.
Lamb Chop.
Lamb Chop, like with the comedian.
Yeah, the puppet. What's her name?
Yeah, but she was usually on late night shows because Lamb Chop could get a little dirty. she was on some kids shows because she was a puppet, so she would obviously clean it up. But she was on like Johnny Carson and stuff too.
Really?
Yeah. She was a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
I can't remember her name, but I do remember Lamb Chop.
The red hair.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name either. I know her daughter or her granddaughter. Don't know which one. Still has Lamb Chop. And still, will bring out Lamb Chop on social media every so often.
Oh,
it's so cute.
That's
it is adorable. And then because I was still home when my brothers were growing up, I got a little bit of the next generation. So Blue's Clues, Arthur, Barney was my generation. Ooh.
I still remember my son. I sat him down and I flipped on the TV and Caillou. Do you remember Caillou was on?
Nope, not in my house.
My son turned to me and went, Caillou's from hell. He was like 4 at the time or something.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, we're flipping the channel. Just out of the blue. I had no idea he didn't like Caillou. I just thought, whatever.
It's a kid's show. Here you go.
Yeah. He's like, Caillou's from hell. I'm like, okay. I find Peppa Pig which is a next generation over,
Yep.
is a little like that. It was annoying to watch.
That was beyond me.
Yeah, yeah.
lot of
I only
my-
watched it because my granddaughters watched it
Yeah.
once or twice, but they didn't even like it. So
You're like, all right, cool. This isn't going on in my
Yeah.
house. That's
Well.
too funny. But there is like pop culture tarot decks. Like I know Bowie has one,
oh,
like
okay.
the Starman Tarot.
Yeah,
I know the Golden Girls have one.
yeah, they do. Yes, I think Friends has one too.
Probably. Oh, that'd be a good one to get a hold of. That'd be hilarious. I know Supernatural has a really crappy one done by Inside Editions.
Oh, okay.
Insight Editions. Don't remember which one.
Okay.
It's either hit and miss.
Oh,
They're
okay.
either really, really good or they're like pips and
Just squeezed a bunch of crap into
Yeah.
the tarot deck.
maybe you'll get a full major picture, but the rest, like a 6 of cups, would just be 6 cups. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Who here likes pips?
Yeah, let us know in
Anybody?
the comments.
Because a lot of people will do tarot with the playing card deck because you can technically
Oh, 100%
do it,
you can.
except you're missing all the major arcanas.
Yeah.
And you know that I looked up if Jack was a knight or a page.
Oh, did you? What would they say?
It is neither.
Oh,
Jack is a slang for servant.
interesting.
Yes. So they didn't even do the jack or the knight or the page or the knight.
They have knives. They have swords, don't they?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Now I want to have a.
But jack is actually slang for servant.
Interesting.
So it's the king, the queen, and the servant. Yeah, because those are jacks. Is there anything else in the court cards?
I don't
Playing
think
cards?
so.
No, it's just the 3.
And
yeah,
then-
so king and queen and their servants.
Oh,
And that's it.
and then the 2 jokers are the fools.
Are the fools, yeah.
It's interesting.
It's the jokers are the only leftover from the major arcana.
Huh.
But yeah. So I think you can't really do a full reading
No, but
because you're just doing everyday, like, because the minor arcana are supposed to cover your everyday kind of stuff, you know, like mundane stuff,
not big life lessons.
Yeah, exactly. So you're leaving, like, it's like I'm taking my spiritual side and just throwing it away.
We just want to deal with the mundane side.
Yeah.
Well, that might have been, was that the church influence too? Like, because tarot did start as a card game, did it not?
There have been games with tarot, but I don't know if maybe it did start as a card game. There's a lot of mystery around the beginnings
Yeah.
of tarot, and what it was used for and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people do readings with just playing cards, and it is kind of neat because you have to memorize every card.
Detail, yeah.
You can't. There's no riffing off the picture or anything like that, right?
Hang on, I don't remember what this means. Let me think about
Exactly.
it. That's too funny.
Yeah. But I do like tarot because it does have a structure. There are usually pictures to riff off of. I could do a pips only deck if I had to, but my brain would hurt afterwards.
Or like, oh crap.
And that's the beauty of memorizing each card, because when you see like a 6 of hearts, six of cups. I'm confusing my playing cards with my tarot cards. 6 of cups. You go back and go, okay, that's called the nostalgia card and RWS. This is what it looks like. It's 2 kids playing in a field, blah, blah, blah. So you can draw the picture up for yourself if you've memorized the system.
Well, and that's interesting too, because if you memorize the system, because there are some decks that have switched. So depending on how
Yeah, have diverged a lot.
Wicca-based.
Yes.
things are, they've somehow switched the air suit and the fire suit.
Yes, I've heard that.
Or like other things have gotten switched around. I don't know if it was one of Diane's decks, or I have a deck.
And there are some, like I've got Victoria Francis' deck, and she says in her little white book of pick, she doesn't put a suit to any of the images, and she says make them your own.
That's cool.
So she's got black roses, she's got crucifixes, she's got, I think there is a cup one, and I can't remember what the other 2 suits are, but you just make them what you want. But the danger of that is I've made like, okay, this suit means cups, a suit means wands, a suit means this. And then halfway through the reading, I've switched
Oh
around.
no,
And I'm
that's
like,
not helpful.
Hang on, what did roses mean again?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I'm like, so if I use that deck, I write down what I'm making each suit.
Just in
For
that
that reading.
instance.
Yeah.
So like what we're talking when we're talking about differences in the RWS. So this is the Wildwood Tarot.
Okay.
Which was based off the Greenwood Tarot, which finished backing on Kickstarter to an astronomical amount of money, by the way. But instead of the Fool, you get the Wanderer. So you kind of get like less Christianized.
Okay.
So instead of
It's funny that the Fool is in the tarot, and the Fool is all of us that we have to accept. But in the Bible, it actually says you will be condemned to hell if you call anyone a fool.
oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why the church doesn't like the tarot. Or maybe did someone...
The high priestess was definitely the catalyst.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was the Fool thing. Who knows?
Because, like, it's definitely pre... So instead of...
Although the Fool was in every court as a jester or joker. Those are all the same names.
So the high priestess is the seer.
Female or male?
Male. Well, you really can't tell. So it could be either or.
Yeah. Could be either or. Although,
I feel like there might be boobs there.
yeah, I'm like, is there boobs? I think there's boobs.
Or, like, instead of the magician, it's the shaman.
Oh, okay. So they're
it's very-
taking a...
Very pre-Christian,
Yeah.
Celtic lean.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see the Druid Craft. That's another deck that I really like. I'm interested to see the Greenwood Tarot next to this one. I know people have done deck reviews and things like that, and there are like walkthroughs on YouTube. But there's something about just having the deck in your hands and actually physically seeing
Yes.
the cards.
Yeah. Deck reviews are great just to kind of get an idea of what the deck is like, seeing the cards. I don't like deck reviews. I don't know if you've ever seen this, where they just do this in front of the camera and they're just like, they don't say anything. They're just showing you.
Well, I can kind of understand where the logic is, because then some people find people talking about decks distracting.
Right.
So if you just want to take a look at the art, yeah, here's someone flipping through the deck. But I love when people talk about the cards.
I love when people talk about their personal experience with the cards, what their thoughts are on the cards. I also like when, like, and this is what I do on my deck reviews, is I will flip through the cards and talk to you about them. So if you don't like talking, you won't like me. But at the same time, I don't show you every single card, because it's always nice to have a couple surprises.
It is, but then is there a card within the deck that if you don't like it, you won't buy it?
Not really for me.
Really?
No.
So I have to like the Hermit card.
Okay.
And I think there's another card, but more the Hermit. Then I think it has to at least be good to me, or at least like, oh, I can see that.
Okay.
Or I really like that art style or whatever.
Right.
Because I'm not a huge proponent of this art style. But I love how now I have to find the Hermit card.
Because to me, the deck overall has to speak to me.
Yep. And that makes sense.
And I love watching the different paths that some decks take, and the divergence that they make, and some I don't like. I'm like, no, don't do this.
You're like, why? Why did you do this?
Yes, it's like, oh, you ruined a perfectly good deck.
So instead of the Emperor and the Empress, there's the Green Man and the Green Woman.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
No, I can't find the...
And they both have cauldrons. Cauldrons are very big in Celtic lore.
Yes, I'm really liking... So it's really interesting because Josh and I were talking about tattoos, and it's probably the closest the closest thing we'll get to a matching tattoo, because I have the I'm talking about the Triskeli, so the three kind of cauldron swirl, and then I have whatever this is, or just Triquetra. There we go. Which is the more Christianized version.
Oh, okay.
Which kind of speaks to like how I came.
The Holy Trinity and blah blah blah. Yeah. Okay.
But I really like what the Triskele stands for.
Okay.
And like, oh, it's gorgeous. Every time I read a book that like re-explains what that symbol is, I'm like, oh yeah, there's another layer to it.
Right.
So it's really cool.
And threes like play into almost every spiritual path,
Oh, 100%
belief.
they do.
Even in fairy tales, threes are very important. You know, threes are a magic number, and then multiples of three, right?
Then why is 7 the
And-
most holy number? If
Not
3s are the
to
most.
all
That's true. That's true.
all cultures for sure. And even Tesla himself was obsessed with 3, 6, and 9.
I can believe.
And studied it because he thought that
the
combination
man.
would hold the
That's what it is.
key to how
So
the
that's-
universe works or how it was created. The hooded man. That's the hermit.
Yeah, it's the hermit.
The hooded man sounds like he's gonna rob you.
I know, but he's still like, there's still a really nice tree in the background. He's got his lamp. He's got his pole, the staff.
Yeah, he's got a Christmas wreath up there.
Yeah, almost like Santa Claus is coming to visit.
Yeah.
I really like that one. I really like the one I pulled a card from my Darkwoods tarot. Not a fan of the like. I don't know if it reads as Damsel in Distress. I'd actually have to try and reread the lore on how that deck is shaped. But the
Sorry,
art,
which deck is it?
the Darkwood tarot.
Oh, okay.
So like Sasha Graham's
Yeah.
not new deck.
Right.
I'm like mixing up. She's got a newer deck and that's not
Yeah.
released. And then the Witch's Garden is one of her like most recent.
Yeah.
And then Darkwood I think came out during COVID, like 2020-ish.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe just before. Love the art on that deck, but I don't know if I resonated with the story as much. But like the art, the way the artist made the cards pop, I was
Yeah.
like, this deck is amazing.
Oh wow.
I need more than one copy.
Cool.
Yeah, so the art really sealed it for me. So it just depends on how the deck speaks to me. So like,
Yeah, because there's many factors for me that goes into why I like a deck versus
Yep.
why I don't like a deck. But I don't have one card that's like, if it just doesn't speak to me, that's it. I'm not doing it.
well, and I mean, I know it's hard. I know like I put a lot of faith in that one card, but
No, but that's a good system, right?
it helps my wallet because I do not have infinite tarot funds.
And if you're watching one of my deck reviews and I haven't reviewed the card that you look for, like if I haven't done the Hermit, for
Yeah.
instance, then just let me know and I'll show you what the Hermit in that deck looks like.
We should we'll wait till you guys comment, but I think we should like do a variety pick of like if, you know, Sandy's card is the 9 of Swords or whatever. I don't know, I picked that card out of my mind. We'll show you, like we'll go through one day during the podcast. We'll be like, okay, Sandy wants the 9 of Swords. Here it is. You know?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
here's the deck you were thinking of. If we already own it. I don't know if we should splurge on that. Might be dangerous to our wallets.
But if there's a deck that you would like to see us use that we haven't used already,
Yeah.
please let us know because I have a ton of tarot decks.
She probably
and-
has it in the shop, and if she doesn't, she probably already owns it.
Yeah, it's one or the other. So.
Well, I've said that to my friends who have like started tarot, and they're like, "Oh, I want to see." I was like, "Will you ask me before you buy?" Because 9 times out of 10, I probably already have it.
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, if you want to see it before you buy it, because like, why?
Or at the very least, do some deck reviews. Like look them up on YouTube because there's a lot.
Because like, what you think you'll get from a deck versus what you see from a deck, like what's released in promo images and what the actual images are sometimes very different.
Yeah.
Too. So it's like you could be thinking you're getting this type of deck, like type A, and really you're getting type B, and you're like, well, if I had known it was type B, I probably wouldn't have got it because I wanted type A.
And like part of the reason why I talk through the deck reviews is I encourage people watch more people like me that are doing deck reviews, see what they say about it. So you're getting a lot of different opinions of like this resonated because of this, or I really liked this, I enjoyed that part of it. But you know, my opinion is not the only opinion out there.
No, and I mean everyone's gonna have different opinions on decks because there's decks that you absolutely love that I'm like, yeah, they'd probably skip. But I think we have enough similar tastes just from like what you've brought into the shop, where I'm like, oh, that's a good one. Do I own that one yet?
Yeah.
I gotta be careful. But like everyone's gonna have different opinions.
Yes.
So definitely check out different people and what they say on the next deck you want to buy, whether it's, mass market or independent or whatever, independent's gonna kill you in cost.
Yeah, independent is definitely expensive, but it's a way of patronizing an artist and a creator as well. And if you want to patronize us, we would be happy to have you in the Goddess Club. Go to ko-fi.com/Goddess Garage and you can become a goddess and support us in what we're doing. Buy us a coffee so that she'll stop yawning through
Mondays are rough.
through the podcasts. and I've watched back some of our videos and we keep talking about other delights and we barely get tarot delights out. So it's like,
Oh yeah, because we keep telling people we're gonna have another. I think we've just meshed. Like we do enough of tarot, or at least a little bit of tarot, and then there's other delights mixed in.
well, I think we should almost rename it Tarot and Other Delights because we do go on tangents.
Well, that's it. I think we wanted, and I mean, if we had, see, my schedule's the one that's the issue. Because if I had the time to do 2 podcasts a week, I would.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I
we
would
probably
happily do.
And we probably would shut up and only talk about tarot in one podcast. But I don't know if I can get here.
Yeah, exactly. And I already do 2 podcasts because I do one with Catherine as well.
You're like, what's one more?
Yeah, what's one more, right? But yeah, no, I almost think we should rename it in some ways because then we can bring in other things too, right?
No, for sure we should.
We don't need to narrow ourselves. Expand.
No, let's expand out.
Yes,
We
exactly.
talk about like divination with pendulums and all of it, other
yeah,
stuff.
numerology,
Right?
Color theory, even that goes with tarot.
Yes, there was a
We can always tie tarot into whatever our other delights
There's
are.
a really good color theory deck that I'll have to try and find. But yes, we are going to do a draw.
So Catherine, speaking of Catherine, she's not here right now, but we're going to do a draw that was on our Facebook Goddess Garage group, which I encourage you to join. Different from the club. If you're in the club, you're very exclusively in there. But we're doing a draw for a big bag of all kinds of goodies, $75 plus amount of stuff. So we're going to draw right now. Kayla's going to pick a piece of paper. I'm hiding the names from her so she cannot see them.
Anne Marie.
Anne Marie. Yay! You won! Is that the Anne Marie that comes in?
I believe so.
Okay, cool. I thought she had entered, but I wasn't sure.
I was like, I don't know.
Because you didn't give me her last name, I don't think.
No, it just said Anne Marie.
Oh, did it?
Now
okay.
I'm gonna double check.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check too.
Because now I feel like just in case.
Anne Marie. Anne Marie, you entered. I will be putting that up on the Goddess Garage group on Facebook. Goddess Garage is also on Instagram. And that's about all I'm on because Nana can only do so much and understand so much technology. I got to get Sarah back in here on Mondays, I was thinking.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, she's very tech savvy. And I like having her around.
Anne Marie, this one.
Oh, no, that's a different Anne Marie. Okay. Yeah, Anne Marie, congratulations. Awesome. So I'll get in touch with her on Facebook because it was all on Facebook, this contest.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, maybe I should do an Instagram contest.
You should.
Yeah.
Go over and like the page on Instagram and you could be added into that
Yeah.
draw.
Look me up. It's Goddess Garage Canada, I think.
Yeah, I think you have a few of them.
Of what?
Well, at one point, I think, because was it TikTok or Instagram? It did. If you search it, at one point, it came up with more than one. I don't think it does anymore.
There's a lot of people that are trying to copy my name. So I'm not surprised at that because even now, like a handful of years ago, you could type in Goddess Garage and you'd only get me. Now you could
Goddess Provisions, Goddess Girl Talk.
But even Goddess Garage, blah, blah, blah.
Yep, Goddess.
You know,
there's Garden Goddess Tarot.
Right. But there's a lot of Goddess Garage and then followed by hair salon, car repair. Car repair makes sense, but
Yep.
I think car repair is out in California. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are copying Goddess Garage name and then adding their thing at the end. So, yeah, I'm Goddess Garage, Rhonda Devlin Gilbert. if you want to look me up. And I'm in Canada. I'm a Canadian. Actually, technically, I'm a North American because I'm a Mohawk. We don't sort of recognize the border between.
I was gonna say, I was like, how does that work for a second?
Especially as a Mohawk, because we were on both sides when you guys came over. Not you personally, obviously.
But like my definite ancestors. There is
And
not a lot of.
Then the ancestors came along and drew an imaginary line.
That is still imaginary.
That is still imaginary. All borders are imaginary.
Yep.
Do you remember playing that game War in school? Where you draw a line and that was your country, whatever you wanted to name it.
Oh yeah, it's like Risk, right? Like,
A little bit. And
yeah.
you throw a stick or there's some stick throwing. Someone had to get hit, essentially.
It's a lot of games we played as children that like we would get expelled for.
Yeah. So
you
you
like-
hit your friend with the stick. And if you hit them, you got to take a chunk of their country.
Nope, don't. I remember playing Red Rover.
Oh, I
there
love
was
that game.
Many.
That's a rough game.
It is. It can be a rough game.
And I grew up in Lanark, so we were rough people. So I knew how to play Red Rover to the death.
Yeah,
kind of
you were
thing.
like not screwing
Yeah,
around that day.
Yeah, exactly. You will break my arm before you break through, right? So I went to John 23rd School and we moved to Kingston with the city folk. And we played we played Red Rover. And they told me I was not allowed to play because I played too rough. And this is coming from the kids, not the teacher. And I'm like, but Red Rover is a rough, hard game. I'm sorry. Because I will break your arms to break through, and you will have to break my arm to get through. It's like, that's just the name of the game.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah, I was a little rough.
That's okay though. There's not enough. I feel like some kids don't know what rough is nowadays. They're just like, hi, I twisted my ankle. And I'm like, what'd you do? They're like, I tripped
Yeah.
over my own feet. I'm like, can you move your arm or your foot? Yeah. Walk it off.
Yeah. We also had this game called Girls Against Boys. That's what we called it. And it was literally, and it was a good time for the girls because we were around 12, 13 at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably younger than that, 11, 12. Because we were at the point where, you know when girls are bigger than boys
Yeah,
for a
the
little
taller,
while?
yeah.
So we were taller and bigger than most of the
So you
boys.
could get them. Yeah.
So we could get them. And what we would do is the aim of the game was to get a boy and beat the crap out of him. And the aim of the game for the boys is to get a girl and beat the crap out of her. And
We don't condone violence, but
We
it's really
don't.
funny reminiscing about it.
I remember doing that. Because the girls, of course, were way stronger. And we could beat the crap out of a guy. And we would defend if any girl got caught. We'd be right in there, like tearing boys off of her, going, "No, you're not gonna win this." And
That's too funny.
I was just like, and we called it Girls Against Boys.
So the teachers didn't know what you were doing.
No, of course not. We played it far back in the field, where you couldn't really see what
See,
we were
this is
doing.
where like my yard duties are all different. I don't exactly have to pay attention to the whole schoolyard. Thank God. Because there's some things I see and I'm like, oh look, I can't help you with that. Have fun.
Well, I can't believe they let us play this game.
I know.
Because we would come in from recess going, yeah, Joe really got, Rhonda that day. And then, oh, we really beat the crap out of Paul. And like, we'd be talking about
the
it.
teachers back then were probably like, okay, whatever. Nowadays, we'd be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Whose parents do I
And
have
I'm
to call?
surprised we didn't have more bloodshed than we did, considering the game we played.
Well, half the time I walk by kids who are like running off of each other, it's probably a good game of tag or a really rough game of soccer.
Right.
And I'm like, and if there's ever kids that are like pulling on each other, I'm like, part of the game or do you need help?
Yeah.
And most of them are like, what? No, we're good. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, because the most we got was at lunchtime, a teacher might come out and just check on us.
Yeah.
But for the most part, there wasn't a lot of
I was gonna say,
yard
you guys
supervision.
are probably already like. I find it funny when some of the schools, like, because I've been to a few schools, and some of them are like good, well stacked
Right.
with yard supervisors. Like, you could throw a stone and hit one.
Right. Which is for the better.
For the better, yes. And then there are other schools I've been at where, like, yes, you're a smaller school, but you still have a big enough yard, and there's not enough like eyeballs. And there's maybe 3 people for a large yard with a lot of kids, and I'm like, that's not enough.
Right.
But
yeah.
it is what it is. They work with within the very confines that they have, and they do a very good job with it. So I'm not
Yeah.
dissing. I'm just saying.
I
that
mean,
the
kids have
systems-
survived much worse
Oh, I know.
circumstances
I know.
in the past, right? Like, I still remember going to Harrowsmith School. So we moved in Kingston. We went to John 23rd, which was a city school. Then we moved back out to the country in Harrowsmith, and I went to the Catholic school out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt a fish out of water because I'd moved a few schools in the last few years. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I know what it's like to be a military brat, basically.
Oh yeah, no.
So anyway, so that this one time in our recess or lunch hour, whatever it was, I had a fight with a boy, and it was something to do with soccer or baseball. I couldn't remember, like the call. We were
Yeah.
So we ended up fighting. And I was like, yeah, like the girls at the school were not city girls, but they weren't quite rough country the way I was used to. So we got into a brawl. Like we were down on the ground and we had scuffed knees, and I was beating the shit out of him. He was beating the shit out of me, and we were fighting. And then we got, recess bell called. So
Yeah.
that breaks up any fight immediately.
It's supposed to. As you get older, you learn to ignore it.
And so we both, went in. We
Yeah.
were in grade 6 at this point. And I think he had a bloody nose, and you could tell one of my eyes was about to swell. And I walked in there, and he walked in there. And his name was Joey. And he was like, yeah, respect. And then everybody in the class also was respect,
Yeah, you if you go toe to toe with like one of the bigger kids, you're like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
no one's gonna screw with you now.
Yeah, exactly. And, I wasn't shunned or teased as I had been in
Previously,
that,
yeah,
in
that's
that
hard.
school. So, it's hard because, especially in a small school like it was, everybody had grown up together, and I was the new kid, and who am I to come in and do
Yeah.
anything, right? But yeah, no, I got respect after that. All it took was a fist fight.
It's kind of funny watching, because I get to watch the inner dynamics, the social dynamics, and like even in the lower grades, the girls are really catty. The boys will play with anybody, but
Right.
the girls are very cliquish.
Oh.
And I'm like, seriously, like you're young.
Yeah.
Like wait until you're a teen. Like they're 6 going on 16.
right.
Like I'm
right.
talking like Lululemon belt bag, $24 lips. Like
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? You're 6.
Yeah. And I've been outside of high schools even that where the girls, I get it, they're older and they're teenagers and they're feeling their hormones and stuff. And they're starting to embrace the power of being sexy, right?
Yeah.
But they're sexy, and then there's, oh my God, what strip club are you coming out of?
Cover it up.
It's like
Yeah.
you're dressing way too old for who you are.
Well, and it's funny too because I'll we're so at my arena job. So let's take it out of the schools for a minute, just because
Yeah.
the population I deal with in the schools is much too young to be acting the age that they think they are. At
Right.
the same time, that's just a whole other topic that I just don't want to get into.
Yeah.
But at least with the people at the arena, so when they have puck bunnies.
Puck bunnies?
Puck bunnies. So
Okay.
if you go after hockey players, or like you have a favorite hockey player,
Oh, yeah,
and you're,
yeah. I guess
are you dating them? Are you not? I don't remember.
there were quite a few that went to our high school.
Yeah, same here. And I thought I had left that life behind, and then I got a job at an arena, and I was like, why? It feels like I'm back in high school.
And then you saw all the puck bunnies come in.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was a term for it, but yeah.
There is, but I don't remember if like that's the
But
girls
that makes
that want to
sense.
go after the hockey players, that
Or
are
the
called-
girls that are
or
with
the hockey players. Yeah.
Okay.
Because like when playoffs came around, a couple of the girlfriends did get like matching shirts, and they all had like the name of the player, and like that makes sense. That's like the cheerleader wearing the varsity football jacket
yeah.
of the football player that they're dating.
Yeah.
But like some of those girls, I know we're not 16, and you could tell. I'm like, I feel like I have to card them just out of, and like they weren't drinking, but I'm like, you look old enough, but no, you're not.
Yeah, that's why they say, like 25, if you look 25 or
Yeah.
younger, then we're going to card you.
Yeah,
I got carded right into my 40s.
I did not. Which means either I look older, which some people are like, how are you in your 30s? You still look 20 something. And I'm like, still don't get carded.
Right? I get I used to get carded all the time. I'm an old woman now. You can see the gray.
I love how as soon as they see the 19 in your birthday, they're like, they're fine.
Yeah.
Because the Asian majority is like 2000 and...
That's right. I never even thought of that, right?
It's 2000 because 2025.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
2000. So once they see 2000 or less than 2000,
Yeah.
they know you're good.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
And it's even before that. Because,
Yes. Because they'll card you at 25.
they'll card you at 25, but they like, you're allowed to buy booze at 19, right?
Yeah. In Canada.
20,
The state still has it at 21, which I think is way too high. Because kids are already drinking young as it is.
2006.
2006. Okay.
That's the Asian majority right now.
I would not make a good bouncer because I'd be like, I can't do the math. Close enough. Go in.
Well, it's funny because and my boss knows we can't do math, so usually every concert they're like, Asian majority is today's date this year.
Oh,
like,
good.
2006, 2005, and I'm like, oh, thank God. So I just write like 2000 whatever off the top of my sheet, squirrel it. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna card you, but if you look suspicious or you're carrying more than drinks than you should, you're darn right I'm gonna card you.
Yeah.
And then there was one concert.
Well, one advantage of being a girl, I found when I needed booze was
Get the guy to buy it.
yeah. We're giving you tips here.
Man, we are so going away from Tara. We're going other delights all the way.
All the way. Yeah, I would get guys to buy me the booze, and then they're happy to do it.
Yeah. Now, if we see you pass it off, and
Yes.
that person is underage, you're both gone.
Yeah.
Like, easily. I remember I think it's like the one and only hip hop concert we've had, and just the entire night we were like, ID please. They're like, oh, I didn't have to show ID. I'm like, ID please.
Right.
And then 9 times out of 10 it was drop your drink, there's the door.
Oh, wow.
Because they were underage.
Right.
It was so stupid.
Right. Oh, man.
And we weren't even, it was like, there was no second chances. There's no like, oh, I didn't know. There was, no, you knew, you did it anyway.
Yeah.
But I paid for these, doesn't matter, get out.
Yeah. And like, I mean, even at 20, I still look 12.
Right?
So it's like I wasn't getting away with anything until
Well,
I
and
was
that's
the
what
right
I figured.
age.
But at the same time, I think the weekend after I turned 19, because I went to the bars for the first weekend, and then the weekend after I turned 19, I just grabbed some coolers because we were going up to a friend's cottage, and the guy must have been either really distracted, really not liking his job. He just was like, all right, did it, and I'm like, okay.
Meanwhile, my husband was the guy that bought booze for everybody.
Because, yep.
And he's younger than me.
One of my favorites was, this is going way back before I even met my husband. I was going to supply, because I was the only one that had the day off.
Oh, okay.
That was of legal age.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, other people were legal to buy their own booze, but they all had to work until we were going to go
okay.
to someone's house or whatever. So they all were like, here's the money, get us stuff. And I needed muscle. So I brought my boyfriend at the time, his brother.
Okay.
But it was around Christmas. So that's where they check IDs at the door.
Oh, okay.
And so the guy was like, you're not coming in here to his brother because he wasn't of age. And I was like, if you want a sale, he's coming in to carry it.
Yeah.
I'm buying. He's not touching any of it, but
Yeah.
I need him to carry it because I ain't carrying it.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, fine. Like, he was really grumpy about it. And I was
Yeah,
like,
he probably thought it was BS anyway.
oh, it totally probably was. But at the same time, like, I'm this 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
And
I'm not carrying a case of whatever.
Yeah, no, it was more than one case.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was-
exactly.
It's definitely for more than like 10 people. So yeah. But there was also times where, you know how they have, I've seen this job actually recently. The health unit will supply you with money to go try and buy cigarettes underage, because I think you do have to be like 25.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember, so again, my friend was of age, but would always work because we worked opposite shifts. And she's like, I'm out of smokes. Can you go get me some? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I was of age.
Okay.
She was, but her friend wasn't.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm buying you smokes. I don't care what you do with them. So, like, I was making sure that it was legal. It was going to the person that was legal. But the guy was always like, why? I never see you, and then I start to see you. Like, he would always card me because he thought I was, like, some undercover. Because I did not look
Yeah, because I would get carded for smokes a lot because,
Yeah.
not because I looked young. Well, I mean, partly that, but also they were very strict about, undercover people.
Well, because I think they can get in so much crap, and there's so many deep fines for that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
because the crap that they put in cigarettes, and like
Yeah.
adults know what the decisions that they're making, and children don't.
However, I do remember going to the store back in the day as a kid and buying cigarettes for my parents.
See, you can say that. I can't even. Not that no, my parents weren't smokers, but I've seen like YouTubers talk about that, and you've talked about that before, and I'm like, that must have been wild. Like, hey, I'm gonna grab some
Just walking back home with a
chocolate
pack of
bars.
cigarettes.
And by the way, give me some, Jimmy Dean's or whatever the heck it is from Dad.
Yeah.
Like what? And that was like
I'll take
accepted.
a pack of Demare.
That was accepted. It was like, oh yeah, sure, no problem.
Do you want light or extra light? And medallions for my mom. Extra light.
That's bonkers.
Yeah, can you imagine? And then it got up to little. You had to bring a note.
Yep.
You used to just be able to walk in and buy. I'm buying for my parents, no problem.
Yeah.
But then after a while, they said you had to bring a note. So I was still a kid buying cigarettes.
Your mom's like, oh shit, here you go. Here's your note. Go get me some smokes.
Except for the local corner store because they knew me.
They knew you.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I just think it's funny.
But I could still walk into any grocery store or whatever and buy smokes for my parents as long as I had a note.
That's
saying it was
hilarious.
for my parents.
That is such a wild, like
No one could do that today.
no, you couldn't get away with like
Like if you want to smoke, you got to buy the cigarettes. And I can't believe how expensive they are.
oh I know.
Like I think they're $20 a pack. A client of mine is trying to quit, and she's like, yeah,
They're $20 a pack.
it's something like that. I was shocked. I was
Can you tell I
flabbergasted.
don't smoke? Because I
Yeah.
have no concept of what they are.
Yeah, because
Like-
I was just like, what? Like seriously? I remember.
When they used to be like 10.
Yeah,
not even.
yeah, about $10 was
Yeah.
sort of the last price I ever paid.
I used to carry a lighter around because a lot of my friends smoked.
Yeah,
Because they'd be like, damn, I don't know where my lighter went. Or my
I
lighter's
still
out.
have
I'm
that
like,
habit
"Here
where
you
I
go."
generally have a lighter on me
Yeah.
because, hey,
Well, I now carry a lighter again because of what we do here, like
Yeah.
candle lighting, incense burning,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And I'm
saging,
like, saging. Might as well just keep a lighter on me.
yeah,
But like, it's funny.
yeah, right. Like, it's just like, I don't think you could walk into the liquor store though and buy booze for your parents.
No, there's no way. There's no way. That was way before my time. Like, I would never be able to do that.
But Canada's one of the only places that separated liquor from everything else.
oh, that's true. And then Ford mixed it again.
Yeah. So, there's beer and liquor, which I think a lot of people appreciate
Yeah.
because, it's like if you're getting your eggs and your milk, you might as well buy your beer too, right? Like,
Why go to a separate store?
yeah, it's a separate stop, a separate store, blah, 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 right?
But I mean, now I guess you would have cashiers at grocery stores because I have to have my Smart Serve because I sometimes have to like cut people off, be like, you're done.
Right.
And so in order for us to be above board for doing that,
Yeah.
we gotta have our Smart Serve and
Yeah.
kind of recognize the signs and at least be like,
Oh,
we
that-
know when to cut people off and
that's not
what
a
it
bad
looks
thing.
like. And yeah, but like, I mean, if you're falling down the stairs, like you should have been cut off 10 drinks ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I've only ever seen this, I think, 3 times in 10 years, but Blair. And it's never been my original call, thank goodness. It's always like, hey, can I get some help over here? We all like materialize. It's all funny watching that happen.
Right.
But the patron was extremely inebriated. They needed to leave, but they were so grumpy about leaving, they've broken doors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like angry drunks.
No.
Angry drunks are not fun drunks.
Like, just realize that it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah.
And that was your own choice. Like,
yeah. Like, maybe not have had the last beer or two and just enjoy the show for what it is.
my favorites are the ones that start. So when the Glorious Sons played Richardson Stadium, I'm going back like a number of years.
Right.
And I know there's like 2 people in camps, like, never should they do it again. And that was an amazing show. Please do it every summer.
Oh, okay.
Just because of where I was, I watched a guy wait in line for most of the day drinking, still managed to get in, found his seat, and then once everyone was in, we had the choice of either to go home or just be like, the headliner's going to come on. The shows that they're all like halfway through. They're going to be done in 45 minutes. You guys can either stay or go home. So I just happened to like mill around for a little bit because Seeing the Suns is always a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was like 3 rows over, passed out in his chair. And I was like,
Well, he wasn't bugging anyone. He's
no, but I
sleeping it
just
off.
think it's really funny because, well, we can't let them sleep it off. We basically have to like call someone, get them to wake them up and walk them out.
Right.
But like, yes, you had fun in line drinking, but is it really worth the payoff of missing the headliner?
Yeah, you're not seeing the show.
Yeah, like that's what I never understood. I'm like, why would you get so inebriated that
Well,
you don't?
it's when you're having fun, you don't always notice how much you're drinking.
100%.
And then suddenly it hits you. Like,
And you're like, oh.
it's like that for hard liquor with me. I can be sitting at a table all night long. We're playing games. We're having snacks. I'm drinking my Crown Royal.
Yep.
I get up to go to the bathroom and suddenly, boom, it all
Well, it's
hits
because
me.
you're in one position, I think,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
then when you suddenly get up, the equilibrium changes, and then
Yeah.
your body's like, what is
And it's suddenly, Rhonda's drunk now. And it's like, whoa. But,
Isn't it that
yeah.
way if you, I know people say like break the seal and stuff, so as long as you like
Yeah.
don't break it, you're good to go.
You could
And
go
then
forever.
Once you break it, you're like a little more drunk every time.
Once you break the seal, and by break the seal means you go to the bathroom. 1, you're way drunker than you thought you were, and 2, you have to pee every 10 minutes now.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that.
It's like, oh damn it, I broke the seal.
I have a tendency to stay sober in most party situations just because like I've had to go looking for people that are like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go for a walk, I'll be right back.
Oh, you're that person.
2 hours later, they don't come back, and we're like, fudge, we gotta send out a search party.
Right.
So I can't.
Yeah,
let
I was
go
never that
completely.
person.
I
As I
can't.
got older, I don't drink really
No.
at all, because now a hangover lasts me 3 days. I don't have 3 days to waste.
One of the teachers was talking about that. I think she started like at like 10 a.m. on Friday or something, or like not Friday, like work Friday, but like
yeah, a PA day or
a
something.
PA day or something. Like I know her better. She's a very professional person.
Right? Yes,
Um,
of course.
not-
But we
not-
all have our downtime.
100%. And I think she didn't stop until like Saturday night.
Oh,
So like
okay.
all of Sunday. She's
Right.
like, I'm feeling it a little, even a bit today.
Well, like the other day, I was going out for lunch last week with my husband, and I have this weird thing. The doctor seems to think it's part of my fibromyalgia, but every once in a while, my body will send signals that something is broken.
Interesting.
So it's my arm, my leg, my ankle, whatever it might be, and I very real feel like it is broken.
Okay.
And I, like, if it's my ankle, for instance, I can't put weight on it. I can't step on it, nothing. So
That's weird.
It's very weird. So the last week, it was my tailbone. And
Oh, that sucks.
yeah, so
I've bruised that.
yeah, bruising it is the worst. But I couldn't walk. I was walking like shuffle walking.
Yeah.
So we got to a patio that we wanted to get to. And my husband's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, my body just thinks my tailbone's broken. It's okay. Get me a glass of wine. So I had 2 glasses of wine, which helped a lot. No, I had 3 glasses of wine.
She can't even keep track of how many numbers she had.
But I was like, oh yeah, my tailbone feels a lot better. Now, sometimes the thing lasts only a couple of minutes. And sometimes it lasts a few hours.
Yeah.
This one appeared to be lasting a few hours, but the wine helped a lot. But then when we went to go home,
You're like, oh,
I'm
new
like-
feeling.
I'm feeling a little buzzed here. And it's like,
Well, it's also too, if you don't drink that often,
Oh, yeah.
you forget what buzzed feels like.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, this feeling. And then you underestimate probably how much you should have had.
Yes.
Or like overestimate how much you should have had.
so I had the 3 glasses. It was like I had the 3 bottles of wine, and I get really chatty when I'm drunk. So I was like chatting up a storm and laughing, and I'm a happy drunk. So,
the best way to be.
yeah.
It's the best way to be.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because it was like the first time I'd ever been sort of into my cups, as my grandmother would say.
My gosh. I talk like I drink, but I really don't. Like it's been
I talk like I have past experience of drinking, and I do.
Christmas. I think it was Christmas.
Yeah.
But like my job, there are days where I'm like, we're gonna go home and crack wine because oh man, it was a day. But I don't actually. By the time I get home, I just kind of disassociate in my car, and that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm usually like, give me a good snack. I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the more like, because I know some people, because it's a slippery slope of like, from like, oh, I just needed to relax, or oh, I just need to cope, and as soon as it becomes a coping mechanism, and that's when it gets dangerous.
Yeah.
I remember being so mad at something, and I'm not even gonna, like, for one I don't remember, and the other one I'm not gonna acknowledge what I was mad at. That I was like, pour me a freaking drink. I'm so angry right now. And then I was like, ooh, that's dangerous too.
I've
'Cause
never drank emotionally.
If you drink emotionally,
I eat emotionally.
yeah, 100%. People have their vices. You choose different things, but like if you drink emotionally, it hits you different because then you keep that emotion going.
Yeah, I've never understood that. Like for me, I never understood like if I'm angry or if I'm sad, I want to drink because it's going to help. I've never seen drinking in that way. I drank socially.
Well, I drank,
And when I was younger,
I did
would
that
drink
twice, and I was like,
I would drink to get drunk because I
Yeah.
thought that was the purpose.
well, and that's it. Like
when I was young.
most younger people are like, yeah, let's get drunk. That's what we're supposed
Challenge
to do.
accepted.
Yeah. But no, the emotional drinking is weird, and I've only ever done it twice, and I don't think I would ever do it again, just because it could lead to a slippery slope of like potential coping skill,
Right.
a non-good or a maladaptive coping skill is
Because I never think, oh, if I had a hard day, I could use a drink. I think I've had a hard day, I could use a donut.
yeah. Well, like it's still a coping
But
skill.
It is, yes, absolutely.
But at the same time, I feel like food is a comfort.
yeah,
I don't know if drinks are ever, like for me at least, drinks are not comforting.
I don't see it as a comfort thing. But I mean,
I know some people
that's just my own
do. Yeah.
perception.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I see grilled cheese sandwiches, donuts,
For me, it's
a
retail
nice
therapy.
stew, perhaps.
Ooh, a stew.
Yeah, right?
Or like a potato soup.
Oh, yeah, yeah. A good thick potato soup
Good thick potato soup.
with some nice thick crusty bread.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Do you put carrots in your potato soup?
yeah, I almost do the mirepoix
Yeah.
every time. Yeah.
I feel like carrots should go in tomato soup or potato soup.
Potato soup,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not tomato soup. No.
No, I like my tomato soup with crackers.
Yes.
And that's about it.
That's about how I'll
Are
tolerate.
you a crumpler or do you put the whole
cracker in?
in?
Depends. It depends on the soup. If it's something like potato soup, you crumple it.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's something like tomato soup, you put the whole cracker in and like
Dunk it enough
Dunk it,
that it gets
yep.
soggy and you're like, oh.
Yep.
Yeah, I could use some soup right now.
Yep. Speaking of which, it's almost 7:00. It's like quarter
Yeah,
to.
it's time to go. So thank you for being here, hearing our stories.
For everything but tarot.
Exactly. That's what
We
we'll
talked
rename
about
it.
spreads. We were talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did some spread stuff, and we, congratulations to Anne Marie on your winning the prize. So we did the prize, so that's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I put a prize out and then totally forget to do the draw.
All right, so I'm here to remind her that she's got to do draws
yes.
from now on. Because we were gonna go live, and she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh yeah, we're good to go." And I'm like, "What about your prize?" She's like, "Oh yeah."
So look for another prize on Goddess Garage group on Facebook. Like this video, subscribe to our channel.
Yeah.
Spread the word to your friends.
Tell us what kind of soup that you want to eat and
Yeah.
what kind of spread that you use with tarot.
Yeah, there you go. All right, take care. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye. Can I do it?
Oh,
There we go.
I was gonna say you had it.